Did the legislature roll snake eyes on the Seminole Gaming Compact, and how will that affect the state budget? And numbers from a new poll for the U.S. Senate race show Governor Charlie Crist well ahead. But do these polls really matter this far out? All this and more on Power Play with our guests Shannon Colavecchio with the St. Pete Times and the Capitol curmudgeon Bill Cotterell. Welcome. Let's start talking about the Seminole Gaming Compact. What is going on with that?
The Seminoles lawyer is now saying that they have some reservations about the deal that the legislature approved, and that is actually on Governor Crist's desk right now. Whether it's a game of chicken or not, I don't, time will tell, but I do think that the state is obviously depending on that money for their budget, for education funding, and I think that if you're playing a game of chicken, the Seminoles have the upper hand because they already have their casinos.
Bill, what do you think? I mean, how can this happen so late in the game?
Yeah, Shannon's right about the the dangerous game of chicken. I don't think Barry Richards bluffs, and the potential for July 1st. Don't forget the governor's veto of that state employee pay raise, pay cut was another $30 million that they're going to have to come up with. This is the second time that the budget that hasn't even taken effect yet has taken a hit.
So we're looking at a huge hole in the budget. Perhaps money that we were counting on.
Correct. Yeah, potentially, for sure. And new revenue estimates could show us that we have not even as much money as that budget was based on, which has happened obviously a few times in the past few years. So,
what do you think? Special session?
Special session. If the revenue estimate comes in significantly short, they quickly use up whatever reserves they have, which will be less without the Seminole Gaming money potentially, and they're going to have to come back and cut even further.
Well, moving along, let's talk about the new poll numbers, the Quinnipiac poll. I mean, back-to-back poll releases. First in the race for the U.S. Senate, right. It looks like Governor Charlie Crist is way ahead of Marco Rubio. How important are these numbers at this time, and do they even really matter?
I think they're early, and I don't think at this point that they're very surprising. I mean, big surprise. The poll shows that the incumbent governor, who's very popular, is ahead of Marco Rubio. One of the poll findings that I found interesting was that 66% don't really have an opinion one way or the other. That gives Rubio potentially an opening.
What do you think, Bill?
Well, I was amused in the U.S. Senate race. 11 years ago, Charlie Crist, those numbers were showing Bob Graham 67% and a young Charlie Crist at 22, 27. And Charlie Crist would gamely say, yes, well, the only poll that counts, is on Election Day, and we're moving up, we're heading in the right direction. And of course, it turned out the polls were exactly right. Graham won significantly, and I'm sure that the governor is aware of that, although he's too polite to say so. And in the governor's race, it's a push me, pull you, where the job approval rating and the favorable name ID were McCollum. So who are you going to vote for? Sink. That's sort of incongruous.
And it was sort of surprising. I mean, the Quinnipiac poll results, because recently the Mason-Dixon poll results showed a totally different, different numbers. So
exactly. And that, I mean, to me, the governor's poll, they were still very close. It depends, and with polls, it depends how the questions are asked. It depends when they were asked. I mean, I think to me,
how many people were polled,
yeah. how far out the election is. There's what, 14, 16 months to go.
Really quickly, do we think this is an important fundraising tool, whether your numbers are up or down?
Oh, it always helps to be up.
Mm-hmm. But if you're down, you can say, I really need your help right now. Look at the poll.
Well, let's move on to the Power Play of the Week.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to Governor Crist. He has had fundraising events, I think, every night this week, and has events, according to his supporters, every night for the rest of the month. It's, to me, sort of pushing out Rubio and trying to raise as much money as he can to show his heft.
Looks like it's going to be an expensive race. Bill?
I'd planned a different one, but this morning my editor, Paul Fleming, suggested, and I agree with him, Jeff Gottkamp's razor. I need to credit Paul with that. The fact that the governor, lieutenant governor, has shaved his mustache, I think, is a certain indication. With Bill Galvano dropping out of the race for Attorney General, Jeff's in.
I guess we'll stay tuned, and thanks for that. Thank you, our viewers, for joining us on Power Play. For the latest on all your political news, please visit SafetyReview.com.